Oh! Oh!
Ah!
Ah! Oh, hi there. I suppose you're wondering how I got into this situation.
Speed, you're supposed to be winning a race, not narrating.
That's what the narrator's for. I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Speed Racer, and I'm a professional race car driver. With that name, it's a good thing that you did turn out to be a race car driver.
It would have been awkward if he turned out to be a government bureaucrat.
Even though my initials are SR, I wear a G on my shirt for some reason that we'll never explain. Even though my name is Trixie, I wear an M on my shirt.
No one cares about your story, Trixie.
I wear an S on my shirt and my name's Sparky, so I guess that actually makes sense.
No one cares about you either.
This is my car, the Mach 5, the fastest car in the world. That's not true, Speed. It's not significantly faster than other cars. Yeah, but they don't have all those cool modifications that let Speed cheat.
It's not cheating, it's, problem solving.
The steering wheel has 7 buttons that each have a special function numbered 1 through 7.
They're not numbered, Speed. They're labeled A through G.
Wouldn't it have just made more sense to put the names of the functions on the buttons?
Yeah, who designed this thing anyway?
You did, Pops. You also put the designs on the windshield in invisible ink, which was another questionable decision. Button A is the auto jack, which enables the pit crew to raise the vehicle for quick repairs.
But you mostly use it to just make the vehicle jump and make that weird sound like Curly laughing from the Three Stooges.
Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk.
Like that? Why would it even make that sound?
It was either that sound or the sound of Woody Woodpecker laughing.
Button B activates the belt tires, which enable me to drive on slippery surfaces.
You'd think it would just make sense to put those tires on before the race, depending on the conditions.
Yeah, the added weight of carrying the treads around just in case you need them would really slow you down. Same goes for the automated jack. Why not just keep that with the pit crew?
If he doesn't have all these extra gadgets, then how's he supposed to cheat and win every race?
Button C is for the cutter blades, which enable me to cut off the heads of my opponents.
That's not what that button's for.
Yeah, it's for when you get stuck in heavily wooded areas. Speed, you haven't been cutting off the heads of your opponents, have you?
Ha ha ha! He's just like his old man.
Button D is for the deflector windshield, which encases the whole cockpit into an airtight and bulletproof chamber.
Why not just always have that deployed? Why the need to drive in the open air at all?
Yeah, just think in terms of wind resistance alone how much time you'd save. Not to mention not getting a face full of insects every time you drive.
I put it in there so he wouldn't mess up his beautiful hair, even though most of the time he wears a helmet.
Button E is for the illuminating eye mode, which enables me to see in the darkest of conditions.
You mean the headlights? Why do you even need a button for that?
This is 1967 and automated headlights haven't been invented yet. But there's a lot of other technology in this car that hasn't been invented yet, like the retractable tire treads.
That's because they're magic.
Button F is for frog mode, which literally turns me into a frog so I can eat insects when I get hungry along the drive.
That's not what frog mode is for. It lets your car breathe underwater and gives you a periscope.
Wait, do frogs actually have periscopes? And can they even breathe underwater once they're not tadpoles anymore? I think they should have called it submarine mode.
But it's button F, so it had to be frog.
Finally, button G is the Go Homing robot, which enables a flying robot bird to get help, send messages, or take incriminating photos of other drivers.
Yeah, Speed would never cheat even though none of these buttons are technically allowed.
Why is the G button so big and in the middle of the steering wheel? He hardly ever uses it. Except when he accidentally thinks he's honking the horn at other drivers.
Wait, I totally forgot to install a horn. I guess I'll have to make some room for a button H.
Right now, I'm in the most important race of my life.
Speed, you're not allowed to be a race car driver. It's far too dangerous.
But you literally named him Speed Racer. What else is he supposed to be? A government bureaucrat?
I think we've been over this before. Pops, you forgot that although you at first didn't approve of Speed Racer being a racer, after he snuck out and won his first race, you agreed to let him do it.
I did? That doesn't sound like anything I'd agree to.
In this race, I have a friendly rivalry with a man called the Masked Racer, or sometimes Racer X.
That's right, and I'm going to beat you, Speed, while secretly helping you out. The Masked Racer, also known as Racer X, is secretly Rex Racer, secretly the brother of Speed Racer, who secretly faked his own death and ran away after a minor disagreement with his father, Pops. It's a secret.
Who was that talking?
I didn't hear anyone talking.
I distinctly heard a voiceover doing a backstory narrative.
I think think it was more of an exposition dump.
I disagree. I'd say it was more of a flashback. And I didn't hear anything because I've been around noisy race cars all my life.
What do you think it was, Racer X?
I think I'm going to beat you, Speed, but at the same time secretly helping you out, even though we are definitely not related in any way.
There's something familiar about that guy, but I just can't put my finger on it.
You should keep your fingers on the buttons on your steering wheel if you're going to win this race. You keep out of this, Pops. Speed can make his own decisions. Wait, why are you calling me Pops? Shouldn't you be calling me Mr. Racer?
But your name really is Pops, Pops. Even I call you Pops, even though I haven't married Speed yet, but I'm secretly hoping he'll pop the question after winning the race.
And I call you Pops, but you really are my pop.
And I call you Pops too, even though you aren't my dad, but I secretly want to be part of this family, and my origin story is murky at best. I definitely don't call you Pops because I'm actually secretly your son who faked his own death and ran away after a minor disagreement. That would be ridiculous.
Oh, there's a canyon coming up fast. What should I do?
Is it the Grand Canyon like the one Evel Knievel jumped over?
That wasn't the Grand Canyon, it was the Snake River Canyon.
He didn't even jump over it using his motorcycle. It was some sort of weird homemade rocket thing.
Where else was he going to get a canyon jumping rocket? Walmart?
Anyway, the parachute deployed too early and he didn't even come close to making it over.
Guys, what part of canyon coming up fast didn't you understand?
Press the jumping button, Speed.
There's no button with a J on it.
It's button A for auto jack.
It's a car. It's auto everything.
Here goes nothing.
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh!
Ah!
Ah!
Oh! Oh, hi there. I suppose you're wondering how I got into this situation.
You already said that. The exposition narrative is over. He made it. Go, Speed Racer, go.
You said the thing. What thing? The thing from the song. What song?
Forget about it. Oh no, how is Racer X going to make it across the canyon without cheating like I did?
I'll use my superior driving skills to drive down into the canyon, then drive up the other side even though the canyon walls are at 90-degree angles and several laws of physics will have to be broken. Well, that hardly seems fair. Your lousy car doesn't even have any fancy buttons.
Yeah, but he's so mysterious and handsome, and I wonder why the lower half of his face looks so familiar, much like someone I already know but just can't remember.
Remember, the masked racer, also known as Racer X, is secretly Rex Racer, secretly the brother of Speed Racer, who secretly faked his own death and ran away after a minor disagreement with his father Pops. It's a secret.
There was that voice again. What's he keep saying?
He said, I'm right behind you, but I'm going to try as best I can to win this race.
That's not what he said.
Quiet, you. Aren't you supposed to be stored away in the trunk of the Mach 5 for some reason?
We stopped letting him do that because he got a concussion, getting knocked around every time Speed rounded a bend at 250 miles per hour.
I thought we stopped letting him do that because he and his pet monkey Chim-chim added too much weight to an already overweight car. He was never allowed to go in the trunk of that car because that's where we store the subwoofer.
Guys, I think I can win this race, but I just can't seem to shake the masked racer. I'm thinking of deploying the blades and cutting his head off.
What? You'd cut off the head of your own brother? Not that I'm your brother or anything, I was just talking about the general brotherhood that we have between race car drivers. Smooth!
Speed, I don't think you need to cut off his head because you're already ahead of him in the race, and the blades come out of the front of the car anyway, so you'd have to turn around to cut his head off, and that wouldn't save you any time.
On the other hand, time wouldn't really matter much if you cut off his head. Could you all please just stop talking so casually about cutting off my head? It's giving me anxiety. I guess we have that in common, Racer X. I don't like it when people talk casually about cutting off my head either.
I guess it's a moot point because this is a winner-take-all race, and I just realized I'm not even in the lead. I'm in second place.
What? That doesn't make sense. There must have been a last-minute unofficial entry into the race. Attention, there's been an unofficial last-minute entry into the race, but we're going to allow it.
Who is that up there ahead of you, Speed?
Wait a minute, has anyone seen Spritle lately? He was here just a minute ago.
Wait a minute, I see who it is now.
Oh!
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 I was watching the race before, but now I'm in the race, and I'm going to beat my big brother Speed.
And don't forget your older brother.
What older brother?
Speed does not know that the masked racer, also known as Racer X, is actually secretly the brother of Speed Racer, who secretly faked his own death and ran away after a minor disagreement with his father Pops. It's a secret.
Ha ha! I win the race!
And as your manager, I get 20% of the earnings.
What? Those are better terms than I get.
And I win either way. Well, Spritle, I'm man enough to admit that you won this race fair and square. But he really didn't.
Well, Speed, do you want me to fly us home in my helicopter that I can somehow afford? It's races like this that make me feel like retiring at age 18.
Join us for the next thrilling adventure of Speed Racer when he takes on the mammoth car with even bigger cutting blades.
Don't forget to subscribe and then watch the video over again.